The Steve Malzberg Show.
I just wanted to call.
It's a privilege to talk to you.
Oh, no, that's very good. Yeah. Oh, that's very good, Mr. President.
This is like Special Olympics or something.
No, that's very good.
No.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Steve Malzberg Show. That was Barack Obama on The Tonight Show, when it was The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, which it will be again, making his unfortunate crack about he bowls like he belongs in the Special Olympics. And we have another flap, and here to join us to talk about that and many, many other things is our friend, former Senator from Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum. Hello, Senator.
How are you, Steve? Great to be with you, buddy.
Well, good to talk to you, sir. I don't know if you know what's going on. We played that little clip from Obama with Jay Leno where he made the Special Olympics crack because Rahm Emanuel, the Wall Street Journal, has now revealed back in August while meeting with a bunch of progressives and telling them not to take out ads against Blue Dog Democrats, called them effing retards. And Sarah Palin now has called for Obama to fire Rahm Emanuel. The White House finally now has said that Emanuel called the head of Special Olympics and apologized. I don't know why he's calling the head of Special Olympics. He didn't say anything about the Special Olympics like Obama did. What do you think should happen, or what do you think will happen?
Well, look, I share something in common with Sarah Palin. I have a little girl who is a special needs girl who has a lot of developmental problems, and so when you hear terms like that, look, every parent who has a special child, understands that they're special. They and that the term retard is just sort of pierces your heart a little bit, makes you hurt. And I don't think he needs to apologize to the Special Olympics. He just needs to say to moms and dads who are working hard every day to try to provide the best they can for their special child that he didn't mean to use them as a political in a political statement that's so insensitive. And I'm of the opinion people say things and they everybody is entitled to say a stupid thing every now and then. Just apologize for it. And sincerely apologize for it and then move on.
So he should show his face and make an apology rather than having the White House tell us that he called the Special Olympics.
Yeah, it's called a special, no offense. I mean, the Special Olympics is a wonderful organization. I support them. I give money to them. I've done things for them when I was in the Congress. But, he needs to issue a statement and show that he understands that these children are truly special children, and the parents and the caregivers that take care of them are blessed to have them in their lives. And I think I don't know of too many special parents of special needs kids who don't feel that way.
Well, very well said, Senator, and I appreciate you sharing your thoughts and feelings on that. Let's move on. You had a piece in the Philadelphia Inquirer the other day talking about the tide turning against Obama, but also stressing the point that the Republicans have to. Now, they have had policies. They stressed that in Baltimore when the president met with them last week. Don't say we're against everything. Don't say we don't have ideas. Here's the bill. Here's our proposals. But they got to express that and make that known to the American people, don't they?
Yeah, and, it's one of those things where, I think the strategy for the meeting with the president was a good strategy. It put on display the ideas that have been out there. I think they were a little too confrontational in my mind, and going after the president sort of fed into a little bit of the stereotype that they wanted to paint Republicans as. But I think the fact that they did talk about ideas and they did talk about that they have answers and solutions to problems is a good thing. Now they have to put it in practice, and particularly in the Senate. It's hard to do in the House because the House rules really don't let the minority have too much of a say. But in the Senate, they do. And so it's very important for Republicans not just to offer amendments, but to do a lot to publicize the offering of amendments, to offer comprehensive health reform, and to any kind of bill that's out there. That's the great thing about the Senate. There's no requirement that amendments have to be germane. In other words, apply to the bill that's in front of them. You can have a bill on transportation. You can offer a health care amendment to it. That's the rules of the Senate allow you to do that. So it's an opportunity for Senate Republicans to really begin to lay out the agenda through the amendment process in the Senate, and that's what I encouraged in my piece last week.
What do you think of the budget? I mean, to propose a $3.8 trillion budget, which has all kinds of spending, and just a few days prior to stand there and say we're going to cut, we can't spend, we have to tighten our belts, and then he comes out yesterday with that outrageous budget.
It's chilling what we're doing to future generations of Americans, but look, Steve, you know they believe that spending government dollars on government jobs is the way to solve the problem of our economy. They and it works here in Washington D.C. I'm in Washington D.C. right now, and the unemployment rate in Washington D.C. and is the lowest of any labor division in the country. In fact, it's almost half of the unemployment in the country. It's a little over 5%. So he's done a great job of employing people in government, but their world is that somehow or another, that if you just pump more money, more government programs, it's sort of the Great Depression model, and he's using his hero, I believe his hero, FDR, as the model, that we just create government jobs and somehow or another that, he's going to be seen as the next FDR. The problem is FDR kept us in a depression for 8 years, and if it wasn't for World War II, we would have stayed in one. So it didn't work then. It's not going to work now, and I think people are going to come around to that, or coming around to that view very quickly.
We're talking to former Senator Rick Santorum here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I want you to hear Harry Reid. We just played this a little while ago. Harry Reid attacking John McCain, and then tell us what you think of it. Here's cut one.
Well, John is a great name caller. The election's over. He should leave Barack Obama alone and join with us to do good things for the country. John has no reason to be the way he is, but he's become very, very kind of opposed to everything. I'm very disappointed in how he's reacted. We've had some people who've run for president, lost, who've come back and become great statesmen. John Kerry's one example. Al Gore's another. Jimmy Carter. I just think he's got to get over this and move on to something else.
I mean, my God, I guess you got to consider the source, right?
Oh my God, yeah. There's nobody that has been more known for name calling in Washington D.C. than Harry Reid, number one, and to use John Kerry as an example of a statesman. I don't recall John Kerry ever joining George Bush in a single thing that George Bush wanted to do before or after he ran for president. And of course, Jimmy Carter has been the most partisan, anti-American president that we've seen, former president that we've seen. So if that is his standard, what he's basically saying is that John McCain hasn't become a liberal. Yeah. And since he hasn't become a liberal, he's not a good guy.
Yeah, absolutely. One more for you, Senator. I know you got to run this. Don't ask, don't tell. The revisiting of it, and Robert Gates, Defense Secretary, today saying that he's got a commission, he's going to study it for a year. But in the meantime, basically, he said we're going to, dance around it and be fairer in how we implement it and enforce it. The public isn't on board with this. What do you think?
Well, the public isn't on board with it because it's not the best thing for our military. Our military, the men and women fight in our military, and there are gays and lesbians in the military right now who do an outstanding job and don't wear their sexual orientation on their sleeve. They go about their business. They keep it to themselves. They're actually very happy to keep it to themselves because they want to be soldiers. They don't want to be a cause. They're not in the military to promote a social cause. They're in the military to defend this country. They should have the right to do that as long as other men and women who work with them and have to serve in close quarters with them are not put in a very difficult position that can undermine unit cohesion and the ability for them to do their job. So, as I said many times, I have no problems with gays and lesbians serving in the military. I do have a problem if it becomes a social cause where they feel that they have to, the military has to adapt to their public announcement of that. That's the problem here, and I think we have a very good system as it is right now, and I think with most people that I've talked to who have come out, who were gays and lesbians, who were in the military, we're very happy with the fact that they could just go about their business and not be singled out one way or the other.
Right. I'm with you, Senator. All right, listen, Senator, thank you so much. We'll speak to you soon, sir.
My pleasure, Steve. Always a pleasure to be with you, buddy.
Thank you. Take care, my friend. That's Senator Rick Santorum, former senator from the great state of Pennsylvania. 1-800-321-8828. boy, he had some very moving comments about what Rahm Emanuel had to say. We'll come back right here on the Steve Malzberg Show.